Let's see if we can get them to come back. I can have Molly send them a quick email.
We apologize. Difficulties. Are you muted? No, you're not muted. So you're recording right now. Go ahead.
Where do I start? I just start. So TechTown is also a well-established organization. Its focus and expertise is more aligned with starting and growing business. However, its SWAT City program is focused on neighborhood economic development through the delivery of services that support businesses in those neighborhoods. Besides the value that we saw in those neighborhood relationships, TechTown leadership saw the value that Generation E could bring to their efforts to deepen and extend those connections by engaging more community members in the design and implementation of programs targeting their most valuable assets, their young people. Both Access and TechTown have established and trusted relationships with the foundations and other funding sources. Michigan's Women's Foundation is committed to creating positive change for women and girls in the state. They connect to women entrepreneurs. They connect women entrepreneurs to resources and have leadership and other development opportunities for girls. They were interested in creating opportunities to develop the entrepreneurial mindset in girls, and we felt with their focus on women and girls and their experience in entrepreneurship, Generation E's curriculum and approach could be combined to create unique and impactful programs. MEDC, or Michigan Economic Development Corporation, has supported the Generation E-based program led by the Lansing Economic Area Partnership, or LEAP. As a statewide economic development agency that is aware of and has supported a regional Generation E-based program, considering them a critical player seems obvious. NEI, or New Economy Initiative, is also a grantor of significant funds to many, if not most, of the larger organizations in and around Detroit. Although they have no experience or immediate interest in youth entrepreneurship, NEI's Neighborhood Initiative represents for us a conversation around the role of youth entrepreneurship in economic development of neighborhoods. The fact that they already provide grants to some of the other critical players is another reason that NEI is included on this list. The University of Michigan Dearborn makes this list by virtue of its interest in extending its current entrepreneurship education into the community. The university sees value in using the Generation E curricula to enhance its outreach and relationships with other entities. Entrepreneurship programs offered to high schools can have the effect of growing the pipeline of young entrepreneurs in the metropolitan area. This partner brings additional partners to Generation E, as well as a level of credibility that will be extremely valuable. Comerica Bank has made grants to Generation E outside of Detroit and recently expressed an interest in reviewing a proposal of a program in Detroit. And finally, Church of Messiah is a critical player on several levels. This church has a specific focus on the development of young people in its community. Programs such as its makerspace, vegetable garden, wood shop, and bicycle repair have drawn young people with a desire to learn and experience something more than they've gotten in the school system. Church leadership has experience and interest in entrepreneurial endeavors, and it's great value in exposing the young people to similar opportunities and ways of thinking. This organization is ready to go and has attracted potential partners interested in contributing funding and other resources to create a really unique program. I hope you can see from these descriptions that although there are factors such as organizational capacity, focus, funding, and relationships that we consider, whether an organization was considered a key player has more to do with the context and interrelationships. Numerous opportunities exist for Generation E to add value to development programs for youth in Detroit. Examples include Keep Growing Detroit's Youth Growing Detroit that brings together gardens that work with youth aged 11 to 18 to participate in a series of training, networking, and marketing opportunities that focus on teaching youth about agriculture, the environment, and the food system. Another one is Kidpreneur, which offers entrepreneurship classes in lean startup, design, making money, presentation skills, demo day, and requirements. Some of the organizations offering these programs welcome the opportunity to use an established, vetted entrepreneurship curriculum. Small or underfunded programs do not have the resources to develop curricula from scratch. An established curriculum brings the benefits of cost savings and, equally important, a more fundable program due to the foundation's trust in Generation E curricula and approach. Generation E curricula and approach create or add value to pipelining efforts of academic and economic development organizations in Southeast Michigan. Entrepreneurial development funding is mostly spent on adults primarily interested in starting high-tech, high-growth businesses. Universities have for several years been developing and promoting entrepreneurship departments and courses. Generation E's curricula focuses on young people aged 8 to 26, and the development of programs for this population serves to build a pipeline for entrepreneurially minded individuals in the local economy. This holds especially true for marginalized youth found in many of this nation's cities, who without these programs might show up at university with little knowledge or experience of entrepreneurship. Community economic development is well supported by the Generation E approach. The process of developing an entrepreneurial mindset among young people with programs developed within and supported by community members and organizations has the effect of building stronger community relationships. Generation E's community approach facilitates the development of these community integrated programs and thus contributes to community economic development activity in a unique way that appeals to communities and organizations seeking to support development activities within them. At this time, we would like to thank you for your participation and ask that you go to YouTube and visit us to see a promotional video as well as other videos that explain the work that we're doing within Generation E and in various areas of of Michigan and other states.
Thank you very much for taking part in our webinar. Thank you very, very much, Jennifer, for the invitation to do that. And we have listed there for you information so that you can contact us and talk to Ocie, myself, or one of the staff, anything we can do for you.
Okay, great job. Very, very well done. I do have a few comments, questions. First of all, I don't know how I missed this, but 50 counties? Aren't there only 80-some in Michigan?
There's 83 in
You guys
Michigan.
have been busy. I don't know if I just didn't see that in the coordinating plan yet, because I know I didn't finish the entire, I might have gotten close to the entire, but that's incredible.
We're in all the counties in the UP, if you could believe that. And it's splattered here and there, but some are really very large programs, and some it just might be one in one community. It just depends. Yes, we do have programs in over 50.
And if I could just add, Jennifer, one of the benefits I think of that, even in the smaller programs, when you have that kind of reach, the opportunity exists to make those connections. So even though you may have one small program in one county and then a small program in the next, there exists then the opportunity for them to grow and to join and create that network of youth entrepreneurship programs that I think is huge.
Well, if you look at the UP for all of the programs, I think you saw when you came to the showcase, I think they had 12 businesses that they brought from the UP. They all work together. And they think nothing of traveling 2.5, 3, 4 hours to get someplace because that's what they do. And so it's they are a fun group, and that's one of the things that Ocie said, that they end up, none of the groups compete against each other, they collaborate and help each other. So that's another part that we have enjoyed watching young people when they have their businesses going, they equally want you to go to the other person's business too and support that. So they don't feel that even though they know what competition is all about, they've had this developed through the community work that they've done, through the community organizations that have come in and helped them. There's that real feeling that somebody's helping me, so let me help someone else. And that's a great thing.
Well, then you're creating a network of Generation E alums, I guess, and alumni. Yeah, and they connect. And they connect, and you look at the businesses on Main Street, they have to also connect and work together because they won't succeed if they just go it alone. They have to make decisions, sometimes as an association, or they have to comply with certain ordinances, and they discuss things together, and they help each other. I've been told that a lot of times if you not so much cluster the same types of businesses, that doesn't work, but when they're complementary to each other, so you have a shoe store and then the next store over is maybe socks and accessories, that they all work together when the customer comes, they can go to various places. Well, that's kind of the same idea. If they've got that network going, that maybe they can talk about an actual location of where they want to be and how they might be able to work with a similar type of business to make it reality, in UP or whatever.
Well,
I can see how that would.
One of the really exciting things on the Lower East Side of Detroit in that vein is the ability to connect what is there in a meaningful way to have it grow there. So if we talk about economic development, you've got two businesses, those businesses come together to support a youth entrepreneurship program. Maybe you're supporting the development of a new business out of that, and it's all staying local. In addition, there's the community economic development piece of it that says, and this is brought to my attention as a benefit to one of the organizations I mentioned as a key player, Church of the Messiah, was just blown away by the fact that we had a conversation about developing a program where some of the young people that went through could come back and be certified to teach. And when you're talking about some of the neighborhoods that we're working in where there's an invisible wall in terms of the kids' ability to see outside and other opportunities. If you've got an opportunity to have someone go through the program, see the world differently, but then to come back and contribute to kids who now have a relationship to that person, the effect is just multiplied. I get to go in and do that training and they go, yeah, okay, great. But David comes back after having gone through it, and they're looking at him in a different way. They're looking at their opportunities in a totally different light.
Yeah, Church of Messiah, we are partnering with them. Well, we were on Barry came and did the keynote address for last year's summit, but we've also kind of shepherd people down there to kind of see what they're doing and have him take them on a tour, and so we kind of partnered in that way to give them visibility. We often talk about them on social media, and but this idea of almost, a mentoring of sorts, or at least a trusting to have that person come back with David or whomever it is that says, I went through this, and look at where I am. I'm doing real well, or I'm able to now train all of you because I've done this.
Right.
Gives him kind of a whole advantage that maybe he never had before.
The other thing it does is that just think of what it does for that person's self-confidence.
Yes.
And really when we talk about it, and I mentioned it at the very beginning, but it should be mentioned, that all the way through they're taught communication skills, employability skills. And if they get all done with come from, and they say, that's fine, I'm not going to be an entrepreneur, they have the skills now that makes them much more employable because they've run a business. They understand that bottom line. And so whether they become an entrepreneur or a great employee, as an entrepreneur and an innovator to a business, it's a win-win.
Either way. Come on ahead. So 275 educators.
Approximately, it's over 300 by the end of this summer.
Okay, so maybe I missed this in the presentation or in the co-learning plan, but have they all come together in any kind of function or
I would love to. It would be a great thing to do. You know, when you come to the showcase and you see 10 to 12, 15, 20 of them come together, that's only what comes to the showcase. The others have theirs and their different parts. We've talked about it, but you know, with so many people, educators, community organizations, to have the funding to all bring them together, it would be really hard to do. But one of the things that we do is we have webinars for anyone certified with us, and that's when they get together from a distance too. So we keep them, we keep in touch.
Yes, yeah.
And Jennifer, if I could add, one of the other, it speaks sort of to what you're suggesting. One of the things that I would like to see is a loose kind of board or committee that forms in maybe a geographic region. So in Southeast Michigan, what are the major players that are interested in sustaining support of youth entrepreneurship in Southeast Michigan? How do you have them come together on a semi-annual basis to talk about how we can collaboratively support that, how we can attract funding, how we can be more diligent or, So I think that's an opportunity to do what you're suggesting in a slightly different way, because Generation E doesn't go out and say this is a Generation E program as much as it says we're the backbone for any programs that want to develop that entrepreneurial mindset within kids. So we're kind of a background in many organizations like that. Also, we take a background, a back
I think
seat.
that's why you're so effective.
And
I think that's why the state was starting to get very excited about your program, because there's a real sense of, and I hate using the phrase buy-in, because buy-in usually seems forced, but the heads are nodding and they're saying, I've been a part of this, and they feel, that they're ingrained in it, maybe, and that's why they begin to talk about it, they spread the news, because it's theirs, it's their community, and so
their community, their
this is how you
program,
do true community development, right?
Yeah.
You let them lead, and you support. So it's an amazing model, because I'm thinking DACA, some of these other business kind of programs that are in the schools, nobody knows about it outside of the school. And then they're trying to probably find mentors, but there's not a lot of, well, I wasn't there when they did this, and I wasn't there when they did that, and I don't know who you are, and I'm not sure I want to get involved.
Well, I've judged it for a number of years. Fantastic. I love the business plans and so forth, but it is, as you said, it's my first opportunity to meet that person, and that's a little uncomfortable for some, and especially if they haven't had the opportunity to meet with other adults in their class and so forth. Whereas we hope that with all of the activities that are built into the curriculum where they meet adults of their community, by the time they get to that judge who's looking at their business plan, it's a piece of cake. They can talk to anyone. And I think you saw some of that when you came to the showcase.
Yes, I have attended 2 showcases. The first one was in the very beginning, I think. It might have been your second or third, I think. And I can tell you, it seems even better. I mean, it seems like, it was good the first time I went, but this time I felt like there were more people engaging the little business owners. They were talking to them, they were taking pictures, they were asking questions, and I was kind of being a fly on the wall, kind of, observing. And the excitement seemed to be really at a very high level. I had a lot of fun talking to them, the individuals, and I talked to, I think, a 7th or 8th grader that really just, he was sharp. And then going, to somebody that's a little more professional in their approach, some of the older ones, the seniors, I guess, the tutu creator. She just,
the sports tutu. Yes.
Sports tutu that's gone to Disney World for a marathon, I think it was. Some of the tutus are going in lots of places, and I don't know if I should say this on recording, but I really would like to get my hands on one and have it at the summit, because I want to be surprised.
Well, we will get it there.
Yeah,
we will make sure.
I would like her to come, but I just say that's such a unique business, and there
She
were
will.
lots of them that were unique, and others were more, food, but food is big. Look at Dunkin' Donuts, look at some of these companies that have gone huge. And I guess that's not really what it's about completely, but you never
This is a
know.
part
You
of
never
it.
know, yeah, where they're gonna go. And this whole employability skills and those kind of, that's the other side of the argument.
Well, I think too, when I'm 10, I might be doing something for my project as a small business. I might not want to do that when I'm 14, and I might think of something else. And at 26, I might think of something totally different. Doesn't matter because they've developed that mindset, and business skills don't change. The concepts don't change, So they still have gotten all of that in a concrete fashion. One of the young people that you saw maybe at the showcase has a caramel corn business.
Yes.
Okay. He's now online with that business, and he's doing parties and so forth. This first year, he did patio stepping stones as his business, and that's his 4th business with us.
So
So
he's trying a lot of different industries or areas. Yeah.
he's
And that's
successful
Exploring.
out.
Yeah.
And that brings up a point that I made at Church of the Messiah, and that is with regard to expanding choices, giving kids, young people, an opportunity to see different things. They don't have to select that thing to do for the rest of their life, whether it be a specific job or starting a business. But when you take them through a process that has them see things that they haven't seen before and see opportunities that maybe they didn't see before, that's a whole different kid going into adulthood. And that's as much what this is about as anything else.
Full spectrum
Yeah.
of what you're going to get at the end. So, and all communities are invited to the showcase. All the communities you've worked with. You hope for a big turnout.
It's up to them. And, it costs money for them to get to the showcase, and we appreciate that. A lot of them get local support from, to bring youth in. It depends on their schedule. It depends on sports schedules at the end of the year. This past year, we discovered that it's the same time that the colleges are giving their AP testing, and so that's affected it. But, we do what we do, and it has to be at that time of the year because of businesses. So all of them are invited and encouraged. We invited the California crew to come, but they couldn't quite make it. So, but it just depends.
Yeah, 17,000 students too, that they're all invited, right?
They're all, we try
Oh
to
my
reach,
goodness.
we try to reach as many as we can. We're doing better these last couple of years with social media. But, when students start with us and they go through a Generation E program, they don't know it's a Generation E program unless the teacher or somebody tells them. They just know they're getting entrepreneurship education. And so there isn't that connection. Plus, the laws protect any youth under the age of 18, that we can't get their records, we can't get
I
personal
remember you telling me
information.
this.
So our hands are tied on that quite a bit. So we're really using social media now to get to those students and say, hey,
That's part of the
let's know
network.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just keep in touch with us. And, where are you now type of thing. And,
Because you'll have some stories to tell probably from them. I mean, just a Facebook post or an image, and I've decided to do this.
And the other thing is that over time, I think with the relationships and the organizations that are actually executing programs, if what we're just discussing now, they take on, so that they maintain the connections. Church of Messiah maintains connections with all those young black men that they're training over a period of time. Then Generation E can go to Church of Messiah and say, you put 5 folks through program last 6 months or 2 years ago, or whatever it is. Can you tell us what they're doing now? So rather than Generation E having to maintain those relationships, which shortly are going to be in the thousands upon thousands and multiples of thousands, then the organizations that are our partners in that, they have those relationships and are able to pull that kind of data.
and that's more meaningful. It's more meaningful for the organization to say, look where Johnny is now, or or he's coming back to talk with us, or things like that.
Because once again, they were the ones that read the effort, right?
And if you think about it as a funding challenge also,
Right.
in some cases, the funders are going to be looking at the specific dynamics of that organization's location and what their interests are and that whole thing. So the data, the stories and all of that stuff that that organization tells might be more specific to that funder and maintaining some kind of ongoing relationship. Probably diminished funding, we hope, but still to have that relationship to those foundations and other organizations that could support. It might not even be financial over a period of time. So it's good stuff.
Yes, it's a wonderful one. Wonderful. I'm really glad you were able to come today and do this with me. And this will be up on the website, and we will have another webinar coming up soon too that's on the promotion of cooperative enterprises and distressed urban and rural communities. Kind of along the same lines in some ways. That's Ed Lorenz at Alma College. Yeah, so I encourage you to participate if you can. It's on Wednesday, July 16th at 2 o'clock.
Has Jess done hers, Daniel?
Not yet. Not yet. I want to say she might be the following Wednesday.
Okay.
I have to check. Yeah. Yeah, we're still looking at it. And I think you had up to 6 participants today. I think I saw 6 on there.
Was Rosalie one of yours? I think I had 2. Judith, what are yours?
And actually, we can ask now. I see that Judith is still on, or was able to get back on. So if we have any questions or other comments, I kind of dominated the question time, but if any participants want to ask a question or make a comment, you can type it into the chat box, and we'll answer it for you. Turning on the speakers and the microphone sometimes creates feedback, so we've kind of resulted to chat boxes these days. But this will be transcribed, and it'll also be on the website, and we are going to provide a link to the YouTube video that Ocie mentioned earlier. I think that would really help to kind of spread the news.
Mm-hmm.
It's a promo video, so in what I have seen of it, it's very well done. It looks like good photography, some good interviews, and highlights of the showcase. So we'll make sure we get that out on social media too for everybody.
We have that one, and then they're going to do an edit on it a little bit, because I did one. Some of the things changed a bit, but that one is on and it's live. And then we're going to be coming up with a revision probably within the next few weeks, but I did not want to take this one down, because it is good. They did a great job for us. So
We can change the link. Just let me know when you have the new one, and we'll swap it out.
okay.
Did you give a specific date or time frame within which it takes to get this webinar up on your website?
It should be relatively fast. I know that if you've been on the website, you're noticing that we didn't have any webinars up. And the reason for that is we were told that we had to have them all transcribed, and it's caused an enormous delay. Research assistants don't necessarily have the skills to do the transcription process, and so we were going to contract it out. We've considered lots of options. In the past, it's just taken too long. So we asked MSU to allow us to put them on and then transcribe them and then put the transcription later, so that participants of the webinars can watch it almost immediately. So I really hope there will be some editing, but it'll be up on the website hopefully very soon. We'll have them all up on the website soon. And then we have Innovate Michigan, the summit, September 4th, and I'm trying to recall when you are in the schedule. I'm not sure. And you're a session at some point. I do know that. September 4th. I know, but the registration is open, so encourage everyone.
First thing.
You might be one of the first
I
ones.
think we might be.
Okay.
We do have, I think out of the students that you wanted invited, we do have quite a bit of interest in that they would like to come. So we just have to get the logistics so that right now with summer it's just really hard to get a hold of anybody. But I will in August particularly, because that's September and right when school's starting. But some of them are out of school and they're going to see what they're doing. And
Even if they can come just for a half day, or just maybe for your session, or like you're saying, some of them, I guess the Generation E relationship isn't as strong as it is the organization. So maybe if they know that some of their organizations are going to be there, they can kind of sit at the same table, or maybe there could be some kind of organizing of that. I don't know how to do it.
I know, we're
Really
really,
alumni kind of.
alumni are coming in.
We can reserve a table that says Generation E Alumni, and you could kind of boost it with that, saying, we have reserved a table, they invited some of the students from the showcase this year.
And they know, I mean, those kids, because they participated in the showcase, they know what Generation E is. You know, they're more familiar with it, whereas some students who don't come to that wouldn't be. So they would be very familiar, and just, they're all excited, and, you know, if they're available, they would like to come. And it's from about 5 counties
So,
that I think was.
yeah, listen to the program. It's quite a,
Yeah,
it was very occasions.
yeah, they were very,
All the surprises.
that would be fun.
Yes, it will be fun. So I guess this ends our webinar, and I don't see any questions or comments, so I think we're done. Thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you.